Heads up, friends. The unofficial Shopify podcast is made by indie entrepreneurs for indie entrepreneurs and may contain material not suitable for all audiences, like swearing or economics. Listener discretion is advised. If you like this show, there's another podcast I think you might like, Upflip. Yes, we're doing a cross promotion here, but it's because our shows are so similar. On the Upflip podcast, you'll hear interviews with real business owners who share the tried and true strategies and insights that help them turn their ideas into profitable businesses. Sound familiar, right? So if you're looking for actionable, practical business advice, you'll find it on the Upflip podcast. Just search Upflip wherever you get your podcasts. Shopify Editions Winter 24 just dropped, and you know what that means. Product updates, new features, stuff we should probably care about. Like past editions. This time we've got another 100 plus foundational product updates. And the issue with that is there are so many. Which ones should we care about? What are the exciting ones that are going to get the buzz? And so to find that out directly after the editions announcements, I joined a panel of smart folks, of agency folks, the stuff who get paid to care about this, who have to think about it and live, sleep, eat, breathe it 24/7, like myself. And together we bounced around and figured out, okay, these are like the top 5, 6 features, concepts, new things coming down the pipe. And so in this episode, we're going to talk to a panel of folks and get that broken down for you. Joining us to discuss it, I'm your moderator, Kurt Elster.
Check nasty.
And we've got Kim Samuelsen, who is Director of Delivery at Half Helix, Jay Larson, Director of Engineering at Tomorrow, and John Festa, Senior Solutions Analyst at Tomorrow. And so collectively, we're going to figure out what we should care about, at least initially. Like, what's the big exciting stuff? All right, let's go.
Thank you all so much for joining us today for our live session on Shopify Editions. We are very excited to dive in just a minute and break down some of the exciting updates that Shopify announced earlier today, just about an hour ago now during the launch of their Winter 24 editions. So by way of quick introduction, my name is Chelsea DeBalsi. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Tomorrow and Half Helix. So Tomorrow and Half Helix are two agencies that merged about 5 months ago in the fall of 2023 to form the largest independent Shopify-only agency in the world. So combined, we have more than 200 employees across design, strategy, and technology, all working to grow brands on the Shopify platform. So I'm excited to introduce a few of those teammates today who are joining us as speakers and Shopify experts. So we have Kim Samuelsen, who's the Director of Delivery, Jay Larson, our Director of Engineering, and then John Festa, who is our Senior Solutions Analyst. And last but definitely not least, we also have Kurt Elster, who is joining us as our co-host and moderator. Kurt is one of the most highly regarded independent consultants in the ecosystem and also the host of the unofficial Shopify podcast. So please feel free to drop any comments or questions in the Zoom Q&A box throughout the session. But with that, I will turn it over to Kurt. And thank you all so much.
Chelsea, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So there were a few announcements today, 100. I would say 100 announcements. And it's a mix of, this is new stuff we've not seen before. These are updates on things that were announced and now maybe are available, and all kinds of tiny changes. Like I followed the Shopify change log. That thing just lit up today. And so I think even for me, even for us, for people who are, in this 24/7, it's overwhelming. And so I need, as much as our viewers need, someone else to tell me what to care about. Like over time, we'll figure it out. But initially, I'm overwhelmed. I get analysis paralysis where I'm like, tell me what to care about here. And so I think I want to know, first thing from you fine folks, what's the one big one, right? Like what's the thing, the number one thing that immediately stood out to you? Anybody jump in?
I can go first.
All right, Jay, let's hear it.
most clients would be excited about is that 2,000 variant limit, especially if you're looking for like a clothing brand, for example, where you have different sizes, different colors. That's a big unlock. Simplifies a lot of things. Prior to that, we always had to do custom development to kind of stitch the products together retroactively. Now in this new product object, obviously it's not in general release yet. So we're expecting some difficulties in the first couple implementations of it. But it is a new like breaking change to the previous product object that uses GraphQL. Should be super fun though. That was a big one from my end.
That was the one I think that stood out to me just because that's like infamously the 100 variant limit on Shopify. Death to the 100 variant limit, long live the 2,000 variant limit, but the limit has limitations. We'll discuss it. Kim, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think kind of building off of that, obviously with the 2000 variants, we see that a ton across a lot of our fashion clients, a variety of different clients that have all those different variants. But the Shopify combined listings, so that combined listings app, I think is going to be huge. Obviously, building on these variants, we're probably going to see more consolidated parent products. Being able to merchandise those now on PLPs is going to be a game changer, I think.
That one I'm excited to dive into because this really, that feature, that app, this like official Shopify app, represents a theme customization that we have probably all done for our clients, in the last 18 months. It's just a popular, practical thing to do for SEO, for merchandising, but also to work around that darned 100 variant limit. Mr. John Festa, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of stole my thunder there a little bit, but I think those two are very exciting. But to kind of touch the B2B side, right? The ability to have those sales reps and say, okay, only my regional managers and whatnot can see these orders or, place an order on a client's behalf. Also applying specific discounts in there kind of by location. I think those are some big unlocks for the B2B platform, which, whether you have a developed B2B program already or you're trying to branch into that, those are every location wants their own pricing. So I think those are some unlocks that have been needed to help bring more customers into that B2B marketplace. And then I think you can go headless with it now too. So you can really match your D2C site styling if you're on a headless environment to B2B as well. So I think there's some exciting things to look at in there as we go.
And I love the B2B features they've added. We had that wholesale channel in the past where you had to use an app or some workaround. And then, recently we moved to that B2B feature suite, which is so nice. It's everything I wanted in a wholesale channel. And now they're expanding on that. With the other features, I haven't even had a chance to look at what they updated on B2B. So I'm excited to dive into that a little bit with you. Chelsea, did you have a favorite feature?
I'm excited to hear more about the native returns and also the subscriptions.
Oh, yeah. Returns and exchanges. We got that update. And subscriptions goes. That was one that's like, that was previously announced. Now everybody can use this Shopify subscriptions official app. And so I haven't played with it yet, but I look forward to it. And I think the other one that I think will, in practice, will be really powerful and helpful for a lot of people is an update to Shopify Magic. It's what they call their set of AI features. And certainly, when AI works right, it does feel like magic. But there's a photo editor built into your Shopify admin now that uses generative AI, where you could just like swap out backgrounds on photos, run AI photo enhancements. And like I've played with similar features in Photoshop, they work incredibly well, assuming that this is a similar thing. And in the demo, it really looked a lot like how Photoshop handles it. What an unlock. I mean, just like something unheard of 18 months ago for anyone to use is now just like, oh, that's just a free feature in a web app, in a SaaS product. Oh, wow. Exciting stuff. So, okay. I think the one that's going to generate a lot of buzz, the 2,000 variant limit. Start with somebody break down for me the 100 variant limit, like what it means, how we got there. If somebody doesn't jump in with it, I'll do it.
I mean, you can take it if you want.
All right. So 100 variant limit, this long-standing limitation on Shopify that was the infamous, oddball limitation they had. And it's, if I have a product, we'll do a shoe. The shoe comes in 10 sizes and it comes in 3 colors. 3 times 10, I have 30 SKUs. That's 30 variants. But the moment it comes in different widths, let's say it comes in 3 widths. Well, now suddenly that's 90 variants. And so I'm almost at my 100 variant limit. I add one additional colorway, it's over. I have now gone past the 100 variant limit, and now I need to break that product listing out. And so that, in the past, the solution was, custom product options apps that brings in its own set of issues. They can't track inventory properly. It's a workaround. But that was how we had to do it. It just wasn't an option. Now they're saying, hey, in a particular set of circumstances, in the future, you're going to have access to a 2,000 variant limit. Somebody walk me through what I have to do to get to that 2,000 variant limit.
Yeah, so right now, being that it's in early access, most likely involves a conversation with Shopify to see if you can get it within your storefront. Also, the current like REST API and product object is likely not compatible with that 2,000 variant limit. It's a different GraphQL API. Some changes, so there will be custom development that's needed in order to actually reference the correct like 2,000 variant limit product object. I would be curious to see in the future if that 2,000 variant limit is compatible with the combined listings. Feel like we probably wouldn't need it at a certain point if your variant limit is that big. But I think it would still be nice to have the ability to unlock like merchandising on the color level or size level or something like that specifically. So I'm sure they're thinking about it. We'll see what it ends up looking like once we get to the general release.
So currently it's going to be available only in developer preview. I mean, it's like developers can start building tools for and with it, but nothing that is going to be available to like an actual production store. And then, based on how we've seen these things go in the past, figured like 6 to 12 months, and that's nothing official. That's just my guess. As we see apps and methods get developed to leverage this thing and use it and see it in the wild. So it's happening. We've got a solution for the 100 variant limit. Any other thoughts on that before we dive into the other solution, combined listings app?
Yeah, I think I said early access before. What I meant was developer preview. So like developer preview, like Kurt said, like you cannot put that on a production instance. In fact, Shopify just will not let you. So one little caveat there, but I think we can move on.
Yeah, early access is their language for beta, meaning like this can be used on a live store, but you have to get invited. And that's like, features like Shopify Collective would be in early access. And then developer preview, yeah, it's like, all right, hey, here are your new toys, start experimenting, but you can't use that on a real store yet. Okay. Very exciting, but nothing any merchant can realistically do anything with right now. The other one that solves this problem the variant limit problem in a different way, combined listings app. Who has combined listings thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I'll speak from a brand perspective. So we see a lot of brands that maybe they want to merchandise their PLP to expand on all the different colorways they have. Maybe they're releasing a smaller collection. So they don't necessarily want to have just 1 or 2 products represented there. So I think being able to have this single parent product and then expand that on PLP to represent maybe the 12 different colorways, but then you're still just managing a single parent from like product description, et cetera, will just make that so much easier and provide that flexibility. Right now, we're trying to like work around that sometimes, but I think from like a brand perspective, it'll allow them to achieve what they want to do for merchandising.
Yeah, and that's it. I was leaning on like, oh, well, this is a workaround for the variant limit, but it's also the approach, the purpose is merchandising. And so like one way we work around that 100 variant limit is, hey, in my shoe example, well, it's got sizes, it's got widths. And as soon as I had colorways in, things get complicated. Well, maybe I want to break it out. So my shoe comes in 3 colors. I have 3 product listings. And that way I could show those in the collection grid. I can optimize the title for SEO with the color. It surfaces the product more. All of us had been doing this as a theme customization where it's like a meta object. You would then tell Shopify, hey, these products are related. And then it would appear in the product form like available in other colors. And it would jump between them. Mm-hmm. And fancy headless stores would make it like really seamless. Like fancy, where you really couldn't even tell that it was jumping product pages. That customization that we're like all doing anyway, I guess Shopify took notice. It's we're going to make this official. And so they have a Shopify Plus exclusive app called Combined Listings app now. Do we know what availability on that is?
I think it's in preview as well. Maybe not dev preview,
Yeah, I think it's in preview.
It's
and they've got
free access for qualified Plus merchants.
Okay, so it's invite beta. You got to go hassle your partner manager, please, I'm begging you.
I do think it's a good like quality of life change. Like you said, we've all been doing this customization for many, many years, whether it's through meta objects or just through like product tags, but having it consolidated and grouped within the admin itself is huge. Obviously, we all love that. We've been splitting on colorway or size or something like that. So it's nice that it will at least be available in the admin for these storefronts.
Yeah, now a quality of life improvement. And in the past, like doing it as a theme customization, that's fine. The oddity to it is you're not standardizing this approach. So like you could potentially get into, incompatibilities with apps. And I can't think of a single issue that this has created off the top of my head, but the advantage to having a standardized documented approach from the mothership telling us this is how you're going to do that thing you were doing anyway. Hey, Shopify sellers, listen up. Get ready to unleash your creativity with the brand new landing page builder from Zipify Pages. This isn't just Zipify's biggest update ever. It's a revolution in building Shopify store designs. Say goodbye to clunky designs and hello to total customization. With Zipify's new builder, you're the boss of every pixel on your site. Drag, drop, swap elements, it's all in your hands to craft the most effective layout for conversions. Zipify Pages comes straight from the founder of a $180 million e-com empire. These templates aren't just pretty, they've been tested in the arena with a 9-figure Shopify store. And it's easy to use. A few clicks and your product pages, marketing pages, blog pages, even your homepage will be looking sharp and conversion optimized for maximum sales. And because these templates are tested in a 9-figure Shopify store first, you know they actually work. So why settle for the standard when you can have a site that's uniquely yours? You could try Zipify Pages in their brand new builder for free for 14 days when you go to zipify.com/Kurt. That's zipify.com/KURT to try Zipify Pages for free. And if you tried Pages in the past and thought it wasn't for you, you owe it to yourself to try it again because the new Zipify Pages is a game changer. Zipify.com/Kurt. Check it out. Worth mentioning goes like right along with this discussion of, variants. We're talking about variant options here. Rich attributes for product categories. Did anyone get excited about this one?
I did see that. That's going to be on like product cards, right? Which I think this ties into with what you just mentioned on the combined listing to a degree. Because something I just want to mention there is we used to kind of split. We would like apply a filter when you got to a collection page if you wanted to only show one color. But I'd be curious if this can be extended to say, in my recommended products, you only searched red. I'm only going to give you red products or blue or, a certain size, right? If there's ways to more specifically target a customer as a result of their browsing behavior, I'd be curious if there's, a way to kind of feed into there as well with what they're releasing.
Oh, so they call it rich attributes for each product category. It's taxonomy. And that's another maddening thing about working in Shopify catalogs is maintaining clean product information management. And up until now, it's really up to the merchant or their vendors to figure out how you're going to handle that. And it sounds like Shopify is trying to standardize that approach. And like the little screenshot they have in their example is like, category shorts, and they break it down by activity, color, target gender, material. And you're taking it a step further and going, okay, if we know how they're filtering, based on that, we could segment them. And, then maybe in our newsletter, like through Klaviyo, we could show them only the relevant stuff. Like if I'm only ever shopping men's shorts, then I don't need them to show me, women's dresses.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is just another like kind of good quality of life change that Shopify has implemented. I don't know if this one was a general release now, or I missed the memo on when this is actually being released, if they did mention it. But like, for example, right now in like meta objects and meta fields, if we want to have something that's referenceable on every product page, you kind of have to like pin it, but that pin
Right.
may not necessarily be the same for every single product type. So it's
And you
kind
can
of
only pin 20.
exactly. So in this, being able to change it based on product type or collection or whatever that category is that you can define will be really nice, and it will just be available in the admin. Um, Obviously, a lot of our clients are using like PIMs that's sending that information automatically. But if you're not using a PIM and you are using Shopify to load your products, it's going to be a huge unlock just in that quality of life that I mentioned, or should be a good change.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think on as far as availability on this rich attributes feature, rich attributes for product categories, it looks like that's early access. Based on like you could sign up for early access right now. So I'm guessing that's like it's potentially available in beta for some select folks. And for past experience, it seems like they'll define an ideal category of customer, and if you fit that profile, okay, you can use, like, they'll let you play with it. If you don't fit it, obviously, like, they don't want you tearing your hair out trying to use a new feature, which I appreciate. Okay, we've talked. I mean, all of that, the first, the 3-4 things we talked about, all of it is related to merchandising, related to product information management. It involves, like, everything we discussed maps to a SKU, right? So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to hear about B2B, because for the people who do B2B, it's tremendously valuable to the business, and also a source of pain because B2B programs vary so much. So I know, John, you had B2B thoughts.
I did. Yeah, and I do remember the old wholesale channel frustrations, right? You would upload your price list, but you could never see it. You had to save the file externally to even know what the prices are, right? Which
all via CSV is how you manage prices,
right? And just like it was a great baseline, but that certainly some limitations there now. But with the way they're pushing B2B, right? Like we're getting into much I feel like a true B2B service, I would say, versus, hey, I'm a shop and I have 1 or 2 clients where I just sell like by the pallet. But here, you really are able to go in and say I have 100 different locations and 3 sales managers who go in there and service them directly. Their ability from a service manager perspective to just directly view the orders related and information to their sites and to their customers, to give specific pricing in there to those, right? Done been tied to some B2B work in the past and some past ecom life, and it was just some things that we couldn't do B2B online at all. So I think there's some unlocks that allow merchants to kind of make that next step without a technology frustration holding them back from delivering the service that is going to be required in there. Right. There's some headless pieces where if you're on a headless site, your B2B site can it can go headless now. So right, from a styling perspective, your D2C and your B2B customers can see a unified brand online, which I think is huge. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to dive into there, but certainly things that even for clients that we're helping service now are unlocks to get them into the B2B space with Shopify.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the new B2B features is new staff permissions, where you could say, you have a sales rep, they manage this client, like this is their customer. And so you can limit it where like they only have access to that customer locations, their orders. And so you can kind of silo these things a little bit, which anytime you're dealing with, customer order information, it's personally identifiable information. So it's nice to be able to silo it. But I think it speaks to a larger theme we've been seeing is Shopify is quietly becoming more secure over time, where the staff permissions are becoming increasingly granular. So you can really kind of limit risk for everybody involved by saying, okay, you're doing X work, so you have access to just the things you need to see. And the more granular they make it, the better. And this B2B update just is part of following that trend, which I like a lot. And to your point, and then if you haven't, if you were turned off by the old wholesale channel or old solutions and have not explored the B2B solutions yet, when they work the way I had always hoped a wholesale channel on Shopify would work, it makes sense. It's very sensical. All right, going back to D2C, talking about our consumers, returns and exchanges. This looked like a nice welcome update. Any experience or thoughts there?
Yeah, I think our clients are going to be very excited about that. Also leading into that store credit component. Right now, we see a lot of discounts being issued if there's an issue with the order, et cetera. So having that just available right in their accounts when they can check out with that store credit, I think is great. And on the exchange front, just more retention, making sure they're keeping that sale. So I think brands are going to be excited about that.
I also appreciate just the ease of use, the convenience of moving various day-to-day operations into the native Shopify admin. And so not long ago, they gave us self-serve returns, and it looks like this is in that feature evolving, where previously, you could handle returns in Shopify. Now we're adding exchanges in there and store credit. And you're right. It's all right, you'd issue them a discount code. You'd issue them a gift card. You essentially had to do a workaround to handle store credit. And that goes away now.
I think the people that are issuing gift cards, exchanges, it also doesn't allow them to have a good sense of data, what's going wrong, why are we having so many exchanges or store credits? Is there an issue with how we're describing products online? Things like that. So I think having the store credit to be able to tie back to an order and figure out what the issue is, if there's an issue with merchandising or whatever it may be.
It also, I feel like it helps give a more holistic picture of the customer, right? If I'm a CSR customer service rep, and I call in or live chat and either return, exchange, I could see that in my entire customer history from the admin side and say, oh, you've got $40 in store credit already from something previous. Maybe we don't want to lose you, and you already have you're typically calling customer service agents because you have an issue, right, or a frustration. Having that holistic picture, you can maybe more specifically address those customers, we'll say, right? And not just, give them a store credit. There's other. It allows for a higher touch, I would say, which we all like, right? When we reach out to a brand, I want to feel like you've valued my time because I'm taking time out of my day to contact you. So I feel like that's kind of a good reciprocal respect piece that, from a customer management perspective, you can start to implement business.
For sure. Well, I think we have to bring up the specter of performance. There are web performance updates that have happened here. Did anybody have a chance to look at that? I know it sounds like it's a new dashboard with real user insights. So in the past, you would have in the dashboard, it was page speed score. You use Google Lighthouse, and it was an average of home product collection. It tried to group things together and to give you mobile versus desktop, and it would say you're compared to other stores. Your store's insanely slow, or I like medium slow. Your store's medium slow. Now it sounds like it's going to show, because PageSpeed's kind of an arbitrary score, right? Now it's going to show more real metrics like loading speed. All right, well, that's a thing I can measure. Timed interactivity, visual stability. So that's the core web vitals stuff. I think a welcome change.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a solid idea. I think we'll kind of see how it's implemented after the fact, but it does look like they opened up APIs to it as well, or to specific metrics. I'm not sure if that's just for the headless side or for the online store 2.0 side as well.
It looks like it's on online store under themes.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I said, as of today, they'll start rolling it out. So some people may see it already.
Cool. Yeah. I'm interested to see what those APIs look like, just to get a better look at it. But TBD on that one in my mind. And
they do say we're committed to making our platform lightning fast. In the past year, we've expanded infrastructure, resulting in 35% faster performance. All right, I'll take it.
I think for the most part, that is true as well. They've obviously gone pretty far in serving things at the edge. I know that was like a big thing for them on the hydrogen side, but I know they're applying it to the online store sales channel as well. So intrigued to see if that improved performance keeps climbing closer to like the checkout performance. Obviously, it's probably not possible just realistically to get like one-to-one performance benefits on the checkout side just because it's so much more lightweight than the online store side. But we'll see if that because I think they said, did they say 80% or 90% faster on the checkout side? So
95, yeah.
95.
yeah, so there's still some room to improve on the online store side for sure.
I mean, that's a tougher, like the checkout is so
Exactly. Yeah.
it's such a it's a sandbox versus the rest of the store. That is just a much tougher problem to solve.
Now in the extensibility world too, where they've taken away like DOM access, that just keeps
it was for the best. We abused it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not arguing with you. We absolutely abuse the DOM access in checkout. But yeah, it should be faster, and it is than the online store. That's where I'll leave it.
A lot of our customizations just like showing it was practical stuff, just showing like Prop 65 warnings, that kind of thing. And so having that move to checkout extensibility just kind of made everybody's life easier, even if it is, hey, you got to learn, a new model, a new framework. But so far we've had pretty good experience with checkout extensions. So seeing that continue to evolve is always positive. Just having them go, hey, everything's just faster out of the box, or you're just starting at faster. I'll take it. Fabulous. Ever since a certain other free split testing tool is discontinued, I've been looking for a replacement, and I found one. Enter our sponsor, IntelliGems. It's not just an app, it is your new A/B testing powerhouse. IntelliGems lets you test prices, shipping rates, and site content. It is a Shopify-specific split testing tool that's going to give you real data to drive your decisions and not just gut feelings, right? Data-driven decisions. IntelliGems fits any Shopify store, big or small. So whether you're just starting out or scaling up, it's tailored for you. You can find IntelliGems in the Shopify App Store and jump in with a 7-day free trial, test the waters, see the results for yourself. Or, for a sweeter deal, head over to intelligems.io/Kurt, K-U-R-T, and use the code KURT. What do you get? A sweet 10% off your first month. So stop guessing, start optimizing. Start your IntelliGems free trial and transform the way your Shopify store performs. If the 100 variant limit's going away, great. Also, death to page speed scores. I'm thrilled to have it switching that performance dashboard KPIs, moving to like actual, KPIs that map to something, that are quantifiable in a real way and not so subjective. We covered performance. I think the only other big announcement we didn't talk about was Shopify subscriptions just being in general availability to everybody. I have never played with it.
I haven't played with it in the store. But read the documentation that it's now available, and from an offering, right? It's nice to have that built into a platform now. Like previously, you always had to go third party. You always had to pay an external service and engage another team to manage that, which always leads to just more time spent operating the business, which is time you're not spending improving it, right? So I'm excited to see how extensive that is, right? Like there are the canned emails that Shopify is going to have, so we don't have to build those templates. It has the PDP function. There'll be something there in accounts. So I think it's a big unlock for brands that are just starting to get into a subscription type model without wanting to maybe make the plunge into a third party that potentially supports more more recommendations or just like a more robust my account type of feature. So there's definitely a lot of potential in there. I'm very curious to see which of our merchants start to use it, and also just how it impacts the way merchants operate on Shopify. There's a lot of businesses that need a subscription model because they have a product which is usable. It's not like a shirt that I buy 2 or 3 a year. If it's a consumable, whether it be, in the makeup department, whether, like body washes, things like that. Like these are all items that we regularly need just to sustain life essentially. So I think it empowers the merchants.
For sure. Okay. Key takeaways. Like, Kim, if you get on a client call with a merchant and you're like, hey, Shopify announced a bunch of new stuff at Editions, and they go, what's new? What's the first thing you're going to tell them?
There's a couple of things just based on who the client is. I think variance is a huge thing for many of the clients that we have on our side. But the other piece, the product image enhancement, really excited to see how that works. Right now, it's kind of the season where we're doing a ton of rebuilds, redesigns, et cetera. A big piece of that is often like the onus is on the client. Are you going to reshoot your product? Your product needs to be reshot by X date in order to launch. That's a lot of pressure on them in an already like busy time of their lives for that business. So I think it's going to be nice to see how that plays, because potentially they can reuse the shots they already have if they can align with a consistent background based on updated designs. So I think that's kind of topical right now based on where a lot of our clients are in their life cycle just this season. So I think that's definitely a big one that I would like to flag.
Yeah, I think that's just because we're so developer focused, we focused on the really nerdy stuff. But like, what's the practical, useful tool if I'm just a Shopify merchant trying to run a store, trying to have a successful business? And I think you're right. I think that that magic editor represents huge time savings for people, and I think ultimately like a better outcome, a more polished store when you can quickly, easily recrop a photo, change the background so that it better fits into like whatever section and custom block you're using.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in redesigns, we're often seeing like we'll recommend maybe it's better with this design. Maybe you should have like a white background, for simplicity's sake, across all these pages. Client goes, okay, well, all my stuff is shot on this velvet drape. That's like a massive piece for me to like go and reshoot that. So if we're able to kind of like quickly change those backgrounds, I think it'll take some pressure off the client. Also alleviate like maybe they don't have someone technical on their side who's familiar with Photoshop enough to do this quickly. So I think enabling them to have that in their hands will be great.
I was going to say, I know how to do this now in Photoshop. So like, that's what I'm going to, it works.
If you know how to do it, it's not too bad, but
that's
not
what I'm going to be comparing it to.
Yeah.
You know what? And I don't even know if we looked up like when that's available. You know what? It says release status, general availability. So maybe that's in there now. I got to go play with it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back to the team and say, let everybody know, because we have a ton of redesigns happening right now.
Jay or John, somebody asked you, hey, what's new? What's the thing you're going with?
I would go with returns, exchanges, and store credit, because that's every business generally needs to support that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not store credit for everybody, but returns and exchanges. If you're selling a physical product, even a digital product, right? Not losing that conversion, like they said, you keep that customer engaged. Hey, that size didn't fit, or maybe you didn't like that style. No problem. We'll help you out right now. Boom, you get your new, your new product's on the way. Ship us back your old one, right? Whatever your business flow is going to be. It just allows you to help the customer so much more. So yeah, that's where I would point people to. I mean, you need to be using new customer accounts to take advantage of those features. But there's certainly that's certainly the way Shopify is moving. And right, checkout extensibility is going to plug into the new My Account, templates and whatnot as they continue to evolve. So I just see a lot of growth in how you're able to help your customer as we continue on.
And anything. Well, it improves the experience for the customer, but also really a lot of time savings on just like a kind of annoying day-to-day task that people have to work through otherwise. And now having that be a smoother operation in Shopify, welcome change. Jay Larson, how about yourself?
Yeah, my answer is kind of twofold, but in the same kind of area for both. First, the reusable theme blocks. We've kind of had a solution for this in the past, at least within our build tooling, where we could just write a single block once and then it would populate to all the other ones. But this just simplifies it a bit, takes it outside of our build tooling and just makes it native to the platform, which is always nice to see. And then also the nesting ability of blocks I think selfishly, I'm also hoping for the ability to restrict nesting on certain blocks. And from
Tell
what
me
we've
why.
seen, mainly just for like QA, UAT reasons. So we don't have like a text box inside of a text box inside of a text box inside of a text box, like 8 layers.
You want to put guardrails on it so I can't just abuse it.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. So just some expanded guardrails, and I think Shopify has done a pretty decent job of that on their latest like theme editor releases, specifically for like Online Store 2.0. Right now, they have sections that you can restrict to certain template types or in a specific order in some cases. So yeah, I think that will be a good one. I'm all for having consistent theme blocks along the way because no one really likes it if they can use an image on one homepage section a certain way and then they get to the next section on the product page and they use the image in the same exact way. So I think it will just be nice having like a very consistent set of tools for our merchants to utilize.
100%. Yeah. All of this is geared less toward like, here is new functionality. And there's a lot of new functionality for it, but like the direct benefit, the direct outcome is let's streamline operations. Let's make everybody's lives easier, both, on the customer side, the merchant side, and developers, vendors like ourselves. So, well, Chelsea, did you have one that you liked that like this is you're going to run with?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys covered all the bigger ones. I would say one thing we didn't talk too much about today is the AI enhancements. So some of the changes to photography and the search functionality. So maybe
search. We didn't even mention the search one. Yeah, search. I guess search just works better now. It's AI powered. Deal. I'll take it.
Right. So yeah, what they announced with search is instead of just looking at the keywords that you input, it's called semantic search. So it'll start to take in if it recognizes me and I've purchased in the past, it can start to look at my browsing history. It can look at my order history. So what essentially that semantic, it takes into account not external factors, but factors that might be on the fringe that aren't directly part of my purchase journey in my conversion funnel, but maybe how I got there and some other things like that, right? We've seen this with third-party platforms, right? They're able to look at outside data to a degree and kind of pull that in. So the suggestions which are provided, and the way I kind of broke it down for myself is searching chocolate milk versus milk chocolate is very different from a human perspective. If you search chocolate milk, you want milk, right? You want milk in that chocolate versus if you search milk chocolate, does the search engine believe I want the drink or is it going after the actual, square product, right? So being able to, that's a very simple example, right? But being able to make those differences and give you a better recommendation is where this is leading us.
And what's cool, it's a shame we didn't mention semantic search earlier because all the other features we got excited about, you can't use yet, right? For the most part. Semantic search, this is available now. If you install Shopify Search and Discovery, then I think the settings are in there. I don't know if you have to enable it or how it works. But I guess you have to configure the logic for it. But yeah,
there is some, but it's there,
right now.
Right? It's available now.
And exclusive to Shopify Plus. Many of these features that we went over are Shopify Plus exclusives. Okay. I believe, Chelsea, is it time to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think that was perfect. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and to all of our attendees who dialed in, we appreciate having you and we're happy to host you for the session today. We did record this session and we'll be publishing a recap as well as the recording. So check back on the Tomorrow and Half Helix LinkedIn pages for that. But thank you so much and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.